starting as a very small program and then watching it grow, like you said, has been a tremendous blessing. We had 21 students attend the first ceremony over at the chapel at the Salvation Army in downtown Phoenix. They all had a story, and they all had something there that they were worth celebrating. Every single student matters.
100%.
And we impact generational change. I grew up very poor.
Okay.
I lived in government housing. I lived in trailers, and we struggled financially. And I know what it's like to live in a desert climate in the summer without having a roof over my head. So I don't take this stuff for granted. It doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish. The journey to get there, sometimes it doesn't feel beautiful, it doesn't look beautiful, but ultimately it can be used for something beautiful.
Do you ever wonder how successful entrepreneurs built their businesses from scratch? Are you unsure if starting a business is for you? Well, tune in as we discuss how successful entrepreneurs transform their ideas into reality. Welcome back to From Zero to Revenue with your host, Chris Yap.
This is the show that features the journey of successful entrepreneurs. I am super excited with our guest today, my good friend and founder of Grad School Solutions, Jim Lee. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Chris. Good to be here.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having us here in your office. This is actually pretty awesome that we're doing our actual recording here at your office. But Jim, tell us a little something about Grad School and what you guys do.
Graduation Solutions is what we're considered an EMO, which is an educational management organization. And I guess in the nutshell version, we operate dropout recovery programs.
Sure.
In the Arizona market here. So we service students across Arizona, and we help them get re-engaged back into high school, finish up, get their diplomas, graduate, go into the workforce, college, military, all those fun things.
That's really amazing. Obviously, we've been partners for a few years here, and a few months ago I attended your graduation ceremony at GCU, and that really brought me to tears because you are absolutely changing lives by helping people graduate high school. And we know without high school, there's nothing much you can do after that as far as success is concerned. I know you've got some competition, but what makes student choose you over competition?
The things that stand out mostly for us is our mentoring program. We have a strong mentoring program. So every student that comes in is assigned a mentor, and they really are there to walk through the entire journey, no matter how many credits they need, how many classes they have to finish. The mentor walks through that whole journey with them to get their diploma, walk across the stage, and then still continue to stay in touch, hopefully down the road, and just be involved in their lives as a voice, a strong voice.
So what I'm hearing is it's more engaged, there's more hand-holding, if I'm hearing that right, correct?
Yeah, there's more opportunity for them just to get support where they need it. Some need less mentoring and less support, and others need more, and they need more resources. So mentoring sets us apart. Our program is competency-based, which sets us apart from any other school or program. In dropout recovery, the students have not been successful previously. So coming into our program, it's based on what they know and how quickly they can learn the information and be competent in the subject matter. So it's not a matter of logging hours or sitting in a seat. They can go in and show what they already know. They can learn content. And it's not based on having to sit in a seat day after day in a school setting. They can do it online, and they can do it based on how quickly they can learn it. So it's a much better program for a lot of students with limitations.
Right, and from what I'm hearing as well, and from what I know, the program, it's not really just for those who dropped out, right? Like there are certain benefits for specific type of students, specific type of learning, are you seeing growth in that segment as well? Like for students, not necessarily drop out, but they just want to have that alternative to finish high school from home.
Yeah, there's some other, I mean, we offer other programs as well. The Dropout Recovery Program is specifically for students that dropped out, but we do offer dropout prevention and credit recovery courses as well. And then our sister program in our company that we started is a not-for-profit called Smart Schools. And you're very
Yes.
familiar with Smart Schools.
I am.
And Smart Schools serves students basically from any age that want to still finish their high school diploma in any state and internationally as well. So that's a little different program that students can work from home, not only in Arizona, but across our country and internationally in other countries as well. Still get that same American diploma, accredited diploma, and finish it online in their own setting based on competency, not logging hours and that kind of scenario. So, and we offer those, and those are all growing as well, those programs.
Awesome. Now, Jim, before you set up this company, what was your background?
Great question. It's quite a storied background, but the short version is I worked in physical labor type jobs in a warehouse back in the day, but I quickly learned that using my mind paid more than using my physical body would pay in working in a warehouse or those settings. And so I got into finance and got into accounting and did finance for a couple of decades, actually doing accounting and finance and some sales and taxes and different things of that nature. But I went to college to be a teacher. And so when I got into business, I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. But my roots were helping students and helping people. And so after a couple decades in that type of career, I missed engaging with students and wanting to do more of that for what my career was instead of finance. So got involved in the charter school movement in Arizona and worked in a few capacities as a principal, site director, executive director in a charter program, helped some folks open schools and got into private education. This opportunity arose where the state incorporated dropout recovery in Arizona, and it was just a natural transition. So I've done a lot of things, mainly finance and sales, but being an entrepreneur and starting my own company, it's something I've always dabbled in and done over the years, but this gave me more of an opportunity with what I had acquired over the years with skills,
Right.
and where my passion was.
Absolutely. And I love how you found your calling. Obviously entrepreneurship is a calling, but what makes it sweeter is when you solve specific problems, right? Before you started Graduation Solution, what prompted you, or what was the problem you wanted to solve, and what became your mission?
Yeah, anybody that knows education in Arizona knows there's a distinct struggle here in the state. And if you look at research and funding for schools, Arizona has always been one of the lowest, if not the lowest, sadly. And so, that impacts students in a negative way. And we've had high dropout rates for years and years. And, over the decades, we started this in 2012. So 13 years plus ago. At that time, there was about 18,000 dropouts from high school in Arizona annually. So every year at that time, there was around 18,000 students that didn't make it. And the state's grown in the last 14 years. The population's grown, which also means that the amount of dropouts has also grown. They haven't resolved the educational problems that we've had over the years. And so even with school choice and private schools and ESA funding and private funding options and charter schools, we're still seeing a number of students in the 10,000+ students annually that are still not succeeding. And so that was the niche area that we felt like we could serve well. It's alternative type of educational programming It's not the typical student that we're trying to find. And when we're talking about dropout recovery specifically, the law states that we can't market or try to go get students that are currently enrolled in school to drop out to join the program.
Of course.
Nor would we want to. If they're in school, our whole goal is just to help them succeed. So if they're already in a setting where they're being successful, then that's what we want to see for them. There's already enough students out there that don't make it for us to help, that we don't need to try to draw from students that are already being successful somewhere else.
Jim, I remember when I attended the recent graduation a few months ago, you mentioned that on your first graduation, you just had a handful of students in a small room. I think it was a Salvation Army or something like that room, right? And seeing the amount of graduates and how filled that stadium at GCU was just incredible. How does that feel, Jim, to see, like, I don't know how many students are graduating every year now, but how does it feel to see, like, this one idea transformed into changing so many lives? I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's been an incredible journey in the last 13 years, and starting as a very small program as an entrepreneur, starting something that was an idea and then watching it grow, like you said, has been a tremendous, just a tremendous opportunity and blessing, frankly. And we had 21 students attend the first ceremony, as you referred to, over at the chapel at the Salvation Army in downtown Phoenix. There was a small chapel that held 250 people, and it was pretty packed out at that time. It's one of the things that we've always had a great support for our students at the ceremonies. They have so many friends, relatives, supporters that come and celebrate because they weren't successful previously. They dropped out. And so when they make it and they finally graduate and complete that, they have an onpouring of support.
Right.
And our ceremonies are always very, very well attended. From the first one being even 21 graduates filling up a 250-seat chapel, and then this most recent that you referred to, it was our largest, and we've grown over the years, and we were able to go into GCU's arena, and we had around 7,000, 6,000 people in attendance.
Wow.
And 420 or 30 graduates walk, and it was amazing. And the thing that had in common with the first graduation was there's a story for every single person that's there.
Yes.
Those that are walking and those that are there to support the walking students.
Right.
And that was no different from the first group of a couple dozen kids and a couple hundred people to the hundreds of students and the thousands of people. They all had a story, and they all had something there that they were worth celebrating and coming. So it was an amazing feeling to walk on that stage, see that sea of people, and even though it was a much, much larger group, it still held true to the belief that we have here, and it's why we do it. Every single student matters.
100%.
And we impact generational change. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And I love how you described that as a generational change. And I was there and I was really crying, especially after there's this lady who spoke there. I think she's 25. I think she got pregnant, but she finished high school at the age of 24, 25 something. And that's a life changer there, because now it's going to open so much opportunities for her, for them. How many graduates do you have now every year, Jim?
It depends on the year, but we've exceeded 3,000 in graduation solutions since inception. I'd have to get the exact numbers, and then we're over 1,000 in smart schools. So I think collectively we have at least 4,000 graduates, and
Wow.
it's at least several hundred every year. Right now we're on that pace, and even though we had 400 plus walk in the last ceremony, we did a ceremony also, that was in July that you're referring to, and then we also had one in February. So we had a ceremony which had a couple hundred students there that had graduated, and those are the ones that are willing to come and walk.
Right.
There's still a number that have finished the program and graduated, received their diplomas that for whatever reason don't come to the ceremony and walk across the stage. So it's a great opportunity to impact our society and our families and our students in a big way by doing the work we do. So it's
No.
amazing.
Absolutely. And, when I was there, I can really feel the energy. And obviously, we've been working together for a few years now. Starting a company is hard. Growing it is harder. But sustaining the growth is probably the hardest, right? What are some key, I guess, strategies or components that made you achieve the level of success that you have so far?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that's something that I've learned over the years. And I think a lot of people that have achieved any level of success, regardless of what field you're in or how long you've done it, you have to come to that conclusion of making sure you keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah.
And, I'm
I love
passionate
that.
about helping people. So if you make sure that you're always doing your best to serve whatever client or whoever it is you exist for, whatever your main purpose is, if you keep that as your North Star, your guiding principle, then make sure that every decision you make goes back to that and leads back to that. That's what it is for me. My faith is a huge component of how I operate and why I operate and do what I do. And then the people that I serve and show that faith to by the way I treat them, by the way I want to help them, and the passion I have for them, that's where that faith in action is for me. So to me, it's having the purpose, not only spiritually for myself, my own individual purpose, but then how does that play out in my strengths and being able to help others. And so helping others achieve their educational goals is a huge priority. It's my passion. It's my calling, if you will. And then making sure that I don't deviate from that.
Right.
And I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've taken on projects or things that I probably shouldn't have been involved with, but they were learning experiences, and I figured out keep the main thing, and go learn the lesson quickly and get back on track.
I love that. I love the fact that you blend faith with purpose as the core, not just the company, but you as a person. Because in my experience with this podcast, talking to entrepreneurs, I've had entrepreneurs I interview before I even bring them to show. And there were a few that didn't make it to the show just because there's no alignment. Like, I've met a lot of people who just do things for money. And I realized people who really start business for making money, they're the ones who have the highest failure rate. But for those who really want to serve and true to their mission, they succeed in many ways. And obviously you're a testament to that, Jim. And that's why I love working with you, because I learn a lot from you. You inspire me. It's amazing to see like what you've done, what you're doing for the community. And I talk to your people, and everybody loves you here. So that's a great. It's great to be loved. It's also great to be feared. I think there has to be that balance, right? When you're the CEO, do you agree with me on that, Jim?
I don't know if I'd put it in those words, but I understand what you're saying. And that's a sentiment I've read and seen before. I think I would look at it from a respect perspective.
Sure.
That you want to be loved and appreciated for who you are and what you bring, but there's also a healthy respect that needs to be when you're leading anything or you're subordinate to anybody.
Yeah.
Like I respect our students, and I believe that they are who I answer to. If we don't do a good job, then ultimately our students will go somewhere else.
Sure.
Or they won't be successful. And so I need to be able to look them in the eye, look our staff in the eye, and show them that I'm worth being respected or feared, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Because you do have to have a strong vision and direction and hold true to it. And that's hard because there will be people that come in your way or try to deviate what path you're going on, and there'll be opposition, especially if you're doing something meaningful.
Yeah.
Opposition comes.
Yeah.
So being able to stand strong against that, that's where the fortitude of character or faith or different aspects, if it's just money driving your boat, then I think at some point it's going to sink, or you become unfulfilled.
And that's how you also get distracted.
And then you forget what you really, if your purpose is money, then you don't help anybody. And at some point, if that's your God or whatever you're trying to serve, there's not a fulfillment. How much money do you really need? And how much can you really keep working to get it? And what are you willing to do to get it?
Right. No, 100%. Absolutely. So, Jim, I have this concept called growth Sherpa, which means, Sherpa, when you're climbing Mount Everest, these are the people helping you, guiding you. So I have this thing on growth Sherpa that for you to grow your business while still be able to spend time with your family, your loved ones, and yourself, people are important. I mean, the right people are important. How difficult was it in finding and developing the right people? Because obviously you've grown and you've got great people around you now. How difficult was that in finding and developing?
Yeah, that's been one of the most difficult components to operating a business and growing over the years. We were very small in the beginning, and being selective of getting that right core group was very important to me. And so there was a lot of prayer. There was a lot of really just trusting good people that knew other good people.
Right.
And so it was networking and asking friends and people that I respected and trusted who they knew. And I was very fortunate. I felt like I was very fortunate, and God blessed me with finding the right people over the years. And the more prayerful I was, and the more that I really was looking for the right people for the right reasons and the right attributes, I felt like those doors opened. And then the other side of that was the people that we found throughout the process and over the years that weren't a good fit. It was a learning experience how to still be respectful, how to coach, how to encourage them to at least have an opportunity to succeed.
Right.
But when we found out that wasn't going to be the case, quick or slow in the process, we still had to make that change and let them go to a different place where it was a better fit for them.
Yeah.
And that's a hard process.
Right.
And sometimes you can't tell the difference between the ones that are going to be the ones that are going to succeed, and you need to keep coaching and pushing and encouraging and standing with them, and the ones that frankly just don't ever make it. But the process is very similar for each group.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of faith for me to do it, and a lot of investment over the years. And this is a very different niche type field. And anybody that's ever been in a niche and created something out of nothing to fill a need where there wasn't a lot of history where you could rely on, or a manual you could go follow, you have to learn the hard way. And a lot of people don't do well in that environment.
Right.
It takes a special type of person to join that type of organization.
Right.
It's easier to attract talent now because we're bigger and we have a longer track history and we have more defined jobs, and you can look at your job description and know what your job is. But when you're smaller, everybody does what you need them to do.
Right.
And you got to flex and be able to kind of go with the flow and adapt.
Yeah.
So it's harder. It was harder to find those people in the beginning.
And it's still hard. And obviously that's an ongoing process, because, as you keep pushing, as you keep growing, the landscape change, the needs change, and you have to grow into a specific type of person, and a lot of people don't grow with you.
That's right.
And it's probably, I know we're the same. It's the hardest part of my job is firing people or letting go. I think you agree with me on
100%.
that's just knowing who you are and from what I've heard too. So, but people is key. Like, because obviously with a mission as big as yours, there's no way you can do it alone. We can't do it alone. We need people who would embrace the mission, because it's not always going to be happy, jolly, and successful.
Yeah. Very
And
true.
it gets hard. And if your motivation, I'm talking about like the people you find, like employees, their motivation is just money, it's so easy to leave. But people here, they stay with you for a long time because they embrace the mission. And
Mhm.
obviously they did that because they found your genuine mission, your passion, which is, I think, the anchor of how and why people stay. So Jim, what has entrepreneurship done for you and for your family?
Well, I think a lot of people will say that it gives you freedom to do things where you're not answering to a schedule per se or a calendar.
Right.
I don't know that that's been 100% accurate for me. I mean, I still work a lot and invest a lot of my own time, but it does give me flexibility as to when I do it and how that looks. There's still different aspects of my calendar that I have to, I'm the one that still has to do certain things that other people just don't have the skill to do yet.
Sure.
Or the experience. But for the most part, it's allowed me to do the things that I'm passionate about, helping the people, the students that we serve, the families, and then train, lead, and hire people that are just amazing people that want to give back and do something they're good at, and give them an environment that is healthy and where they're valued and treated with respect and dignity, paid well, good benefits, all those things that you want as an employee. I get the opportunity to work with those people and treat them well and help them see that business leaders can be financially successful but still be caring people that treat people well and honor them and value their commitment to what they do. So it's given me the opportunity to do those things, lead that way. It allows us as a family to have some of those flexibilities. It has given us financial success. You know, we live in a nice home. We have the ability to do things financially that we weren't able to do before
Right.
in certain settings of our life when we had more limitations financially. But it also allows us to give back.
Yeah.
We've able to contribute more to charities and, you know, church and charity and causes that are meaningful.
Right.
And when you have more resources, you can allocate those and find ways to help more people.
I love it. You know, I always believe that money doesn't change you, it amplifies you.
True.
And I think that's exactly what you're doing. Have you ever been broke, Jim?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Most of my life, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I grew up very poor.
Okay.
I lived in government housing. I lived in trailers, and we lived in apartments when I was a kid, and our first trailer we got was a single wide trailer. Me, my mom, and my brother. And we lived in a single wide trailer and 2 bedrooms. Me and him shared a bedroom, and after that we got our first house, and it was a government house. It was based on what my mom made, and her house payment was $100 a month.
Was that here in Arizona?
Arizona, East
Arizona?
Mesa. It was out in the sticks, man. It was in the desert, and
Wow.
it was East Mesa at the time where there was not much out there, and we lived in that environment, and we were on, at that time they called them food stamps, where, you know, they supported us financially with our food and being able to buy groceries. And it wasn't a time when you went into a grocery store and pulled out your little coupon book of food stamps that
Right.
people didn't look on that with a lot of favor. They judged and criticized.
Sure.
And you know, I went to schools in poor areas and grew up with kids that were in government housing, so we struggled financially, and as an adult, I still had that mentality that I was raised by. Even though I wanted more for myself and my family, there were still limitations. And when you work for other people, you make what they're willing to pay you. And even though I did fairly well over different years, we still had to try to make ends meet every month, and it was challenging. And it's been hard most of my life. And I appreciate the struggle that most people go through that are on the low socioeconomic, side of our society. And many of our students fall in those categories. And a number of our staff members do, just due to their own circumstances and limitations. So we try to help, like you said before at the beginning, help them achieve these things as students so that they can have a better future, go into higher education, into college or a trade school, the military, or even a better career.
Right.
And have opportunities for promotion. And then we try to help our staff develop skills that they're more, they're going to earn have a better financial future, and teach them skills and give them opportunities to grow and to be able to improve their situation. So we're trying to do it. I'm trying to give back in those ways, and I know it was imperative for me to have people give me opportunity where I could learn and grow. And this was, to me, a divine calling after many years and decades of business and struggling and trying to work through different challenges, that the doors finally opened. And this was not a short-term, get-rich overnight endeavor. It took me years to get into a strong financial position and get the company in a more stable financial situation than it was to begin with. And there's always challenges with the economy and different things that have come up.
I love how you're willing to be vulnerable to share your story. So I had no idea that you actually, poverty was part of your past.
Yeah.
And now I can see why you care so much. You've got hubs where, people can go get resources, get help and whatnot. Now I see where it's coming from. And obviously, I'm just assuming here, but I would imagine that experience with poverty has a significant role on why you do things and how you do things. What do you think are like the key strengths that came out of that poverty experience with poverty?
Yeah, that's the part where I think if you understand what the road is somebody's walking on, you have a better understanding of how you can help them and what they need. If you don't become jaded, if you don't become just angry at the world because of it. And growing up in those situations, I understood the value of things, and I understood the value of work and hard work and success, and then coming to a faith and believing in God and having a faith, a Christian faith. I learned the teachings of Jesus, and I learned the teachings that the Bible taught, and those were all things I watched unfold as a young man and a child and then a young man. I didn't come to faith until I was an adult. And so I had already seen those things play out, those proverbs and the different things that the Bible talks about, and how evil is prevalent in our society. And there's a battle going on, regardless if we want to acknowledge it or not. It's happening. And how people turn a blind eye to evil, I have no idea. But I watched evil as I grew up in the places I lived. And when you take people's money and you don't give them a lot of hope, and they're not able to support themselves or their family, people do bad things. And I watched a lot of that. And I've shared with our staff and different folks over the years that growing up in that environment, even doing that as an adult, trying to struggle and get through life, I've been homeless. I know what it's like to live in a desert climate in the summer without having a roof over my head or a place to call my own.
Wow.
and not having, money for food and all those different aspects. And so many struggles over the years have taught me how valuable it is to have a faith, but also have the opportunity to provide for myself, my family, others, and then give people an opportunity to better themselves through what I do. So I don't take this stuff for granted. I understand the importance of it, and I value and I'm very grateful for what I have, because I know what it's like to not have it.
Yep.
And I don't need it, but I'm very grateful for it. And I would tell anybody, the same thing. Doesn't matter where you started, and you've heard the, kind of this statement before, but it doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish.
I love that.
And the journey to get there, there's beauty in the journey. Sometimes it doesn't feel beautiful, it doesn't look beautiful, but ultimately it can be used for something beautiful. And the Bible says, God can use all things for the good of those that are called according to his purpose and that love him. And so the key is being called according to the purpose, but it has to be the purpose that is God designed and God ordained. So that's where I'm at. I like that journey, but it's been hard. It's been a hard journey, but worth it in the end.
Well, God certainly put you for a reason, and you are walking the path. I'm sure he's happy. So this is amazing what you're doing. The more I'm excited, I know, we're about to start our partnership here, and the more I'm excited to support your nonprofit. I'm excited to, provide sponsorship as well for those who can't afford the program. I'm really excited about that. We're about at the end of our episode here, but I want to take this moment, Jim, to really thank you for the trust in our team. We started with one person, if you believe it or not, 4 years ago or 5 years ago, and that one grew to a team of I think we have close to 40 now, and it's still growing. So I really want to thank you for that. If I may ask, just last question there, what has working with GabTech Global, this quick plug in, but I had to. It's sponsored by GabTech. So what has working with GabTech been like, and how did it help with your growth?
Well, GabTech has helped us in areas where we couldn't just go find talent readily available with the skill sets we needed quickly and affordably. And so with the job market and the different variables we have to navigate, it was great having you a call or an email away that I could just reach out and say, hey, I need support in this area. Do you have anybody? And your workers have been phenomenal. There have been so many just outstanding people that are willing to step in and help us and are qualified and capable and align with our mission, align with our value system, and they have just stepped in the gap and helped us. And we've been doing it now for a couple of years with you, and we've expanded tremendously over the years.
Right.
But everybody loves working with your team, your people, and they have just shown us a heart and a passion for what we do that has helped us elevate what we're able to do and serve more students, frankly, be more successful, and help create those stories that we talked about.
Well, I love hearing that. Definitely music to my ears. One more question. For those entrepreneurs or wanting to be entrepreneurs, especially those entrepreneurs who are maybe struggling right now, what advice do you have for them?
I just make sure, the main thing is make sure your main thing is right.
Yeah.
Because you have to have a product or a service that's valuable to others. And then if it's worthwhile and you have your character, you're willing to stick it out and push through the challenges, don't try to do it alone, because that doesn't work.
Yeah.
You gotta, to me, if you don't have faith, I would definitely consider that first and foremost.
I agree.
Because that's got to be the guiding light. And if that's not who's leading you, then I would say you're got a whole different road ahead, much more difficult road ahead if you even succeed. But secondarily, if you have your faith in order, you feel like you're going in the right direction, then make sure you have the right voices around you. And, the Bible talks about having counselors, but it talks about having good counsel. Because you can have a lot of counsel that's bad. And so I'd make sure the voices you listen to are good, quality people that, especially if you're an entrepreneur, find somebody that has been successful, that you admire and you can respect.
Right.
And then lean into that, because you have to have support. There's nobody that's an island. You have to have people that believe you, that will buy or use your product or service, but you also have to have people that are willing to work for you or with you. And you have to have people that are in your corner that believe in you, and sometimes the closest people to you won't be in your corner, and you got to kind of fight those voices. Don't listen to those voices. If you're on the right path for the right reason, then you got to find the right people that will believe and help you sustain it. Some of the best people in my corner have been people that I didn't know before, that I talked to them about what I was doing and what I wanted to do, and they had the same vision or mission, or they were called to join me in the endeavor, and they've been some of the most influential people in my success. And they weren't people that I initially even knew until I did this.
Wow.
But be willing to open up and talk to the right people, and be willing to let the wrong ones go, or at least not let them persuade you. Because many people will persuade you into letting your dream go or give up on your dream. If it's worth pursuing, then it's worth pursuing and staying the course. Don't give up.
I love that. Well, Jim, this has been amazing. But before I let you go, Jim, how can people learn more about graduation solution? What's the best way to contact the school or learn more about your program?
The website is easy. That's the best. It's iwantmydiploma.com.
Easy.
And that will help direct anybody anywhere in Arizona, outside of Arizona, in the age range of dropout recovery in Arizona, age range of anybody at any age. Our oldest graduate was 91, 92.
Wow.
And we've had all ages graduate high school, after they were not funded by the state. So we have very affordable programs, and iwantmydiploma.com will help direct them to which program best suits them. It's worth a try. It's a click away.
Absolutely. So, Jim, you take that saying, better late than never, to a next level. So this is awesome. Well, Jim, this has been a blessing. So, guys, this has been an amazing episode. Thank you for tuning in. Again, this is Chris Yap, your host of the podcast show From Zero to Revenue.